brain is constantly distracted. Notifications, deadlines, and a never-ending to-do list are pulling you in a million directions. But what if there was an ancient method to quiet the noise, bring your mind into laser-sharp focus, and finally start crushing your goals? In this video, I'll show you how to apply the Lotus Method, rooted in Eastern philosophy, to transform your scattered thoughts into a calm, clear, and focused mindset. Miss this, and you might never break free from distraction. But watch through and change your life, starting now. Part 1. Gohan's struggle with resistance. Gohan is full of potential, much like you. He has big dreams and clear goals. He wants to get fit, excel in his career, and improve his personal life. But every time he tries to take action, something holds him back. It's not that Gohan lacks motivation. He watches motivational videos, listens to podcasts, and reads about self-improvement. But despite all of that, his mind resists when it's time to act. He finds himself scrolling through his phone instead of working on his goals. Every time he plans to start something important, his brain pulls him towards something more comfortable, something easier. He's stuck in a cycle of procrastination and self-doubt. And the worst part is, he knows exactly what's happening, but can't seem to break free. This isn't just a Gohan problem. It's a universal one. It's the mind's way of avoiding discomfort. Every time we face a challenge that feels hard or unfamiliar, the mind seeks comfort in distractions, social media, games, even daydreaming. Gohan feels like he's battling himself, and no matter how much motivational content he consumes, it never lasts. He's starting to realize he needs something deeper, something more grounded than fleeting motivation. In Eastern philosophy, the mind is often compared to a wild monkey, jumping from one thought or distraction to the next, avoiding anything that feels uncomfortable or difficult. The Buddha once said, "Your worst enemy cannot harm you as much as your own unguarded thoughts." This is exactly what's happening to Gohan. His own mind is sabotaging him. His thoughts constantly pull him away from what he truly wants, towards what feels comfortable in the moment. The ancient monks understood this battle and developed methods to tame the mind, bringing it into focus, clarity, and calmness. What Gohan is experiencing is the human condition. The mind, by nature, resists challenges. It prefers safety and familiarity. But Eastern teachings, especially those that influence the Lotus Method, show us that this resistance is not something to fight against with brute force. Instead, the first step is awareness. The mind resists because it seeks to protect us from discomfort, but it's possible to shift this dynamic. Awareness is key. Once Gohan becomes aware that his mind is naturally wired to avoid discomfort, he can stop being so hard on himself. This is the first lesson in the Lotus Method. Before trying to change the mind, you have to understand it. For Gohan, the battle is clear. His mind is resisting because it's wired to do so. But now he sees that the first step is not to fight his mind or force it to behave differently. It's about awareness. When Gohan becomes aware of his mind's resistance, he stops trying to bulldoze through it and instead acknowledges the role his mind plays in protecting him from discomfort. But rather than give in to those protective tendencies, Gohan learns to observe them without judgment. This is a core principle of the Lotus Method. Before you can change your thoughts, you must first become aware of them. Awareness is only the first step. Now that Gohan has seen his mind for what it is, how does he move forward? The next phase of the Lotus Method teaches him how to release the grip of resistance and flow with his thoughts rather than against them. Part 2. Embracing the flow of life. Gohan realizes that his old methods, forcing himself to work harder, pushing through resistance, aren't working. So he starts looking for deeper wisdom. That's when he stumbles upon the teachings of Lao Tzu, the ancient philosopher of Taoism. Lao Tzu speaks about Wu Wei, the concept of non-resistance, the art of moving with life instead of fighting against it. One of Lao Tzu's teachings resonates deeply with Gohan. By letting it go, it all gets done. This confuses him at first. How can letting go lead to accomplishing things? But the more he reflects on it, the more he understands that maybe the reason he's been struggling so much is because he's been fighting against life, against his own nature. Gohan starts to wonder, What if doing hard things wasn't about sheer force? What if there was a way to approach his challenges that didn't feel like constant resistance? The Lotus Method, rooted in this Eastern philosophy, suggests that maybe the solution isn't to fight harder, but to stop fighting altogether, to find the natural flow within the effort. Wu Wei teaches something that feels counterintuitive in today's world, that by going with the flow of life, rather than resisting it, we can actually accomplish more. It's not about giving up or being passive. It's about moving in harmony with the natural rhythms of life. When we push too hard, life pushes back. But when we align ourselves with life's current, we move forward with less effort. Gohan begins to see that his constant battle to push his mind to work harder only makes it fight back. By embracing this ancient Taoist wisdom, he realizes that it's possible to work on difficult tasks without resisting them. Instead of viewing hard tasks as enemies, he starts seeing them as part of the flow. Gohan starts applying Wu Wei in his life. Instead of forcing himself through every difficult task, he learns to approach them with ease. When something hard comes up, whether it's a workout, a work project, or a personal challenge, he pauses and reminds himself not to resist it. He accepts that difficulty is part of life's flow, and in doing so, he releases the inner struggle. This shift makes his tasks feel lighter. Where once he battled with himself to get things done, he now feels a sense of calmness in the process. This is the next step in the Lotus Method, releasing resistance and finding harmony in effort. Now that Gohan has started to go with the flow of life, he needs to learn how to cultivate stillness and reflection to deepen his journey. Part 3. The Power of Stillness and Reflection. Gohan's journey continues as he searches for ways to quiet his restless mind. That's when he encounters Zen Buddhism and the concept of Zazen, or sitting meditation. At first, the idea seems simple, just sitting in silence. But as Gohan tries it, he discovers how difficult it is to sit still while his mind races. He's used to constant action, to thinking that doing more is the solution. But as he learns from Zen Master Dogen's teachings, if you can't find the truth right where you are, where else do you expect to find it? Gohan begins to realize that true strength and clarity don't come from constantly moving forward. They come from stillness. Through Zazen, Gohan experiences a powerful shift. Instead of his mind feeling chaotic and scattered, it starts to settle. Just like a lake disturbed by wind calms down when the wind stops, Gohan's mind becomes clearer the more he practices stillness. It's in these moments of quiet reflection that he starts to see his challenges for what they really are, not insurmountable obstacles, but opportunities to grow. Gohan realizes that his constant urge to do was what made his mind so resistant to the hard tasks. In stillness, he finds a sharpness in his thoughts, a clarity he hadn't experienced before. Instead of rushing headlong into tasks, he takes a step back, practices Zazen, and lets the answers come to him. In the quiet, he discovers his own inner strength. This is the third step in the Lotus Method, cultivating stillness. Gohan begins to embrace the idea that stillness, like the roots of the lotus flower buried in the mud, provides the foundation for growth. Just as the lotus flower rises through the mud to bloom in purity, Gohan realizes that his challenges, the very things that cause stress and anxiety, are the mud that can nourish his personal growth. By practicing stillness daily, he not only calms his mind, but also develops a steady focus. Now, when he approaches difficult tasks, his mind is clear, and he's able to move through challenges with a calm, deliberate energy. But stillness alone isn't enough. Gohan has learned how to calm his mind, but now he must take that calm focus and turn it into action. Part 4. Turning reflection into action. As Gohan continues practicing stillness, something begins to change. His mind, once chaotic and scattered, becomes a tool for focus and sharp decision-making. He recalls the lessons of the Shaolin monks, who not only meditated for hours, but also perfected their bodies through physical discipline. The monks believed in a deep connection between mental clarity and physical action. One could not exist without the other. Gohan realizes that meditation has given him clarity, but now it's time to turn that reflection into purposeful action, much like the Shaolin monks who applied their inner calm to their movements in martial arts. Gohan starts to see his life tasks like a Shaolin monk would approach their training, with precision, purpose, and patience. Every task, no matter how small, deserves focus. He understands that he doesn't need to take on everything at once. Instead, he can channel his newfound clarity into one action at a time. The Shaolin monks teach that true mastery is the harmony between the mind and body. If the mind is still, the body can act with intention. But if the mind is chaotic, the body's actions are also disordered. In the same way, Gohan learns that his stillness needs to translate into focused, intentional action. Meditation without action leads to stagnation, and action without reflection leads to burnout. The key is balance. The monk's wisdom shows him that when both are aligned, he can achieve more than he ever thought possible without feeling overwhelmed. The fourth step in the Lotus Method is action with intention. Gohan realizes that his ability to succeed doesn't come from doing 100 things at once. It comes from doing one thing at a time with his full attention. He begins to approach his work, relationships, and personal projects with this singular focus, giving each task his full energy and clarity. As a result, he finds that the hard tasks he once dreaded now seem manageable, and he moves through them with calm determination. Gohan is no longer scattered. He's precise, like a Shaolin monk practicing a kata with deliberate, mindful movements. But even with focus and intention, there's one more essential piece to the puzzle. Part 5. The Lotus and the Art of Patience. Gohan has been making steady progress. He's learned to calm his mind through stillness and reflection, and he's started to turn that clarity into intentional action. But as the days go by, he finds himself growing impatient. Despite his focus and effort, the results aren't coming as quickly as he hoped. The frustration builds, and Gohan begins to wonder if he's doing something wrong. That's when he remembers the teachings of the Eastern monks who often spoke about the lotus flower. The lotus grows slowly, pushing its way through the thick mud beneath the surface before it blooms into something beautiful. The monks teach that the beauty of the lotus is in its patience. It doesn't rush the process. It blooms when it's ready. Gohan realizes that just like the lotus, he needs to practice patience. The progress may be slow, but rushing it will only create resistance. Gohan learns to embrace the slowness of the journey. By letting go of his impatience, he finds that he is more at peace with his progress. Like the lotus flower, he knows that his bloom will come, but it will happen in its own time. The art of patience becomes his final lesson in mastering the mind, and with it, he feels a sense of calm that he had never experienced before. So, where are you on this journey? Are you resisting, or are you ready to embrace the Lotus Method? Start with one step, whether it's practicing stillness, applying more intentional focus, or learning to be patient with yourself. Your growth will come, but it will unfold in its own time. If this video gave you some insight, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and let's continue this journey of mastering the mind together.